Hello and welcome to Gamestyle on YouTube. This is our first ever video, and we're going to be having a little look at a favourite of ours over the years in the NHL series, and most recently the NHL 15, which is the first next-gen version of NHL, which, as a long-time fan of the series, has let me down a little bit. Where to start, really? If you have a look at the game, one of the first things you'll notice is a lot of content has gone missing. You have still your basic play now, your ultimate team. Can't miss out ultimate team, of course, because that gets some extra money. The Be a GM is there, but it's very much cut down. Be a Pro has been cut down. You can still play online, that sort of thing, but the game seems to be focused around the Ultimate Team. Moments are still there, and obviously there'll be downloads for that as the season progresses. But yes, everything geared towards Ultimate Team. No EA Sports Hockey League this year, which is a big blow for fans. Um, However, what can we say? The actual gameplay itself is as good as it's always been. In fact, it actually feels quite a bit improved. Um, so if we have a little look at Ultimate Team here, what you'll find out is the screens have changed. It is a bit more awkward to control, editing your lines and that sort of thing. Um, but there seems to be less limitations on sort of having to swap players around and where you can get them from. There's no limitations on the amount of contracts you can store or training cards and other consumables this year, which is good. It's much better, especially for people who do manage to buy a lot of card packs and want a place to store them. It just that whole aspect of it just feels a bit better. Got to a point where you kind of had to discard trading items because you just didn't have the room. But anyway, on to the games themselves. They are fun. Even with a basic team, you can still be challenging. The physics just seem a bit improved. EA have made a big thing about shirt physics and puck will hit off the side of the jersey and things like that. It's noticeable a little bit, but what we did find is that the puck itself does seem a hell of a lot looser, especially in online play. Offline, you've always been able to make the game play a lot more realistic, setting it to hardcore mode, taking shadows off the puck, that sort of thing. What you've also got is an absolutely fantastic presentation screen. It's now branded by NBC, which means you'll get Doc and you'll get Enzo, who are doing pre-game stuff. And it's just generally presentation is much improved. Um, but the biggest improvement, especially in gameplay, and something that was notable in the Ultimate Team of previous years, was a stack team would just basically dominate. You could do basic things like trying to get in the passing lanes, try and hold players up, and a stack team with impressive trading cards attached to them would just be able to get past them, breeze past players, knock them down with ease, and you had no effect. Now, what seems to be happening, even with my lowly team, that it's got mainly goal players but no superstars in it, is able to cope against other teams that are stacked. I've seen teams with players made up of Patrick Kane, Pavel Datsuk, um, Duncan Keith, that sort of player already in their lineups. With me, with a few second line Red Wings players, again being able to cope, get in the passing lanes, block things. It just feels a lot more natural now, which is really good to see. Tactics seem much more improved, which is always a very good sign, especially early on. Um, you can clog up the passing lanes. You can decide to take out the neutral zone. You can press high. You can let them break out. And there's more control over your different breakout styles now. So rather than just being an aggressive breakout or defending the lead style breakouts, you can tell players to push wide. You can tell your top forwards just to get out the zone as quick as they want. Again, for those who understand hockey, it's brilliant. It works. Players seem to be a bit more intelligent than they have in previous years. Um, as you'll see in this video, there's still some physics issues. Players still kind of trip over each other in ways that doesn't always feel natural, as you would have just seen there between the two Blackhawks players. But on the whole, it does work a bit better. It's designed in such a way that it helps the hockey fan rather than just some people who have worked out how to cheat the system or when to press certain buttons to get the best effect. It's starting to help balance it out for those who understand hockey, who know how the tactics in hockey work, understand why you clog up passing lanes, why you force people out wide, that sort of thing. Um, Not many times will you see players shooting from awkward angles, and because they've got trading cards attached, just it rifling into the top corner. NHL 14 had an issue whereby you got to the same position on the ice, went glove side on the goalie, and it was a goal every time. Um, it, Tried it out. First of all, maybe it was a weakness on my particular goalie, which would have been Jimmy Howard most of the time. Tried it with other players, and it was the same. Here, though, it seems to have been fixed. I haven't noticed anywhere where players are scoring every single time. Uh, High percentage areas again will see more goals. And what some people will claim is a glitch goal isn't. They are high percentage scoring areas, usually just outside the slot, the hash marks, that sort of thing. Uh, the only thing that does seem easy initially, but has now been patched by the looks of it, was breakaways. Um, it seemed to be before the latest gameplay update came that if you got a breakaway, you could just simply deke to the right and backhand it in top shelf every single time. Goalies were very vulnerable there. Um, but in the most recent update, that does seem to have been taken out. I've gone from scoring on every opportunity at that to not scoring at all. So I need to kind of find some other ways. Uh, Another issue that isn't quite working as I would have wanted it to is the interference penalty. Um, Sometimes I've found that my players are being skated into and nothing's being given, or they're being skated in, or I'm skating into someone and a penalty's being given. There's no consistency there. It's just depending on how the computer is reading those. One could say that supposedly it's true to life. Referees aren't perfect, so why should this be? Um, but it's not where it should be. This brings us to another point: fights. The fighting system feels a bit more natural now. As you can see, fans react properly to it. They're banging the glass, they're up, they're cheering, um, and you get the players around tapping the stick. There's equipment everywhere. No bench clearances. It's still just one on one. It'd be nice to see a few bench clearances maybe make their way into it a bit more realistic. But aside from that, it's not too bad. The new camera angles seem to work really well. Took a little while to get used to, but they're not straight over the top now. They are at these slight angles, which are meant to represent some kind of TV broadcast. Um, it works. I've not found anything that means it's awkward, like to see what shots you should be taking or where other players are. Um, Online, this is probably the best angle to use because it allows you to control a bit more. Offline, for anyone who does get this, I would suggest using True Broadcast. It is a totally different game when you use that, and at times you can be forgiven for thinking it is the real thing. It flows well, it looks good, and it just plays like a really good game of hockey. Um, but all that being said, unfortunately, the bits that are missing really do let this down. Um, they'll be come back next year and it'll be a big triumph for EA. It does seem like a cynical ploy, but for those who do enjoy it and can do away with EA Sports Hockey League and some of the other cut downs, it still plays a damn good game of hockey on next gen. Thank you for watching our first video, and we'll see you again soon.